Welcome back. And as the conflict in West Asia has expanded, one of the big developments today has been the targeting of Saudi Arabia's Aramco oil refinery. Aramco in Ras Tanura is where the oil refinery has been targeted in Iranian strikes. This is even as Saudi Arabia claimed that they had intercepted 2 drones. But just take a look at the extent of the damage there. In fact, this refinery has had to be closed as it's one of the biggest oil refineries in the Middle East. Let's go across to Gauri for more on this. And Gauri, the significance of this strike, we have seen that Iran is targeting various facilities and US assets, and now this one of the largest oil refineries also being targeted by Iran.
Indeed, Gargi, extremely significant. This is a huge escalation that has come in. Iran has been targeting infrastructure all along, but when it comes to this particular, oil facility that has been targeted, it needs to be pointed out that this is one of the world's largest oil facilities. It processes about 500,000 barrels of crude oil every day, and it also indicates that now it is somewhat of a crossing of a red line when it comes to Saudi Arabia and its leader Mohammed bin Salman, because remember, oil and oil refinery and the oil economy is what really is one of the most important aspects of Saudi Arabia's economic prosperity, and that has been attacked. And what that means is that Saudi Arabia may now be pulled more directly into this conflict. Till now it has put out some statements, but it hasn't been involved directly. Will that lead to now a more direct potential involvement of Saudi Arabia is the big fact, because look at these visuals that indicates the extent of the attack that has actually taken place, and that is something that many feel that in the entire conflict could actually mean Iran really essentially crossing the red line of Mohammed bin Salman.
That's right, Gauri, and do stay on with us. Let's just get our viewers more details regarding this particular strike and what it means. As Gauri was saying, this is one of the largest oil refineries, the Aramco refinery. They're being targeted by Iran, and this really, remember, oil really makes the backbone of the economy in Saudi Arabia. It's one of the most influential energy players in the world, and now with this strike, as you can see, that massive fire and smoke billowing, and the oil refinery has been closed, which marks the first operational halt at Ras Tanura since the historic drone missile assaults on Saudi oil infrastructure in 2019, which previously disrupted the global supply. As we said, Saudi Arabia claimed that it had intercepted 2 drones, but just take a look at these visuals. It really doesn't look like those drones were intercepted, given the amount of damage and the fire that has been caused at this Aramco refinery. And there you can get a sense of, where it is. This is the Ras Tanura refinery that has had to be closed. The Iran drone strike resulting in this massive fire. And this is one of the Middle East's largest oil hubs, which has now been struck in this offensive by Iran. Remember, Iran has been hitting out at various US assets and infrastructure along all the Gulf countries, and OPS and the operations, in fact, at the Ras Tanura refinery have had to be shut down because of this particular strike. Well, going back to Gauri for more, and Gauri, this comes at a time when already there's a lot of concern over, energy with the Strait of Hormuz also being closed, and, ships not being able to function there freely. And now with this oil refinery closed, it just increases the anxiety world over regarding oil.
Indeed, Gargi, 9% has been the jump that has taken place in oil futures today in the European markets now, because people understand, global investors and countries now understand that with energy pipelines and energy supply lines essentially at the verge of being choked, that you are looking at a potential energy crisis. Now, this matters for India very significantly because we import 85% of our energy needs. About 20 to 25% of that comes from Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz, which has been shut down by Iran. So for India, it has massive implications, and for the entire West Asia region as well, because they rest on the oil economy as well. For Saudi Arabia, it means that their economy also is an oil economy. It rests on those petrodollars that get impacted with these kind of sites coming out. So this has actually led to massive escalation and changed the entire strategic calculus as well, both for Saudi Arabia and for countries at large as well. On one end are your energy supply lines that are at complete risk of being choked because of what is happening, and on the other end is the possibility of more players like Saudi Arabia being forced to play a more direct hand. This is essentially Iran forcing the hand of Saudi Arabia for it to come and play a more direct role, or come out and condemn more strongly, simply because its largest oil refinery has been impacted and has been hit, and those visuals essentially tell the story, the scale at which those hits have taken place.